The Wing Chun style of Kung Fu. Could you tell us some of the characteristics of Wing Chun Kung Fu?
Okay. Wing Chun Kung Fu is one of the system of Chinese Kung Fu. It is supposed to be the only system formed by a woman. And so that's why Wing Chun system is a very soft fighting system, but very practical. Okay, it is as soft as Tai Chi style, but it is as practical as most of the other fighting systems.
And how many years has Wing Chun been practiced as we know it today?
Well, I suppose it should be around 300 to 350 years ago.
And where exactly was it developed?
In China, people said that Wing Chun was developed somewhere in Sichuan. Okay, it is the west part of China.
The western area.
The
of
western
China.
area of China, yes.
Now, when you say Sichuan, Sichuan.
Sichuan, yes.
Are there other styles of Kung Fu that might be something like Wing Chun, or is it one that's unique?
I suppose Wing Chun is some kind of very unique things.
Sifu, you had a number of your students did different techniques and different parts of the Wing Chun system. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about some of the sparring that we saw, or some of the techniques that we saw your students performing before.
Okay, the first one you can see is one people he's supposed to be fighter from the other style. Okay, then he apply the high circuit to a Wing Chun practitioner. Then the Wing Chun practitioner, he defended with a double gang sau technique, and then he throw him out, and then he throw him away, and also apply a full cutting hand onto his neck before he throw him away. And that was the first movement. Another guy, he applied a train kick onto his enemies, and after his enemy, get kicked, then he applied the train punches onto his throat and his bodies. And then when his enemy fall down onto the floor, then he applied the kneeling technique, okay, to kneel on his chest.
I also was very interested in the two sticks which you had, the very, very long poles, something I've seen in Kung Fu films before. They're very long. They must be about 12 feet long. What do you call these kind of poles, and what was that you were doing with? Now, Alan Fong is also a Sifu?
Yes, Alan Fong is the 6th level instructor.
So the other Sifu, Alan Fong, that you worked with, what were those sticks and what was that all about?
Okay, the long stick is one of the two kinds of weapons in the Wing Chun system. So we have the double sword knives and the long sticks. The long pole, as what we call, they are as long as at least 9 feet long. And there's double sword knives, they are, no more than 1.5 foot.
Okay, now the what you did with those sticks, it was like a technique. What was there a name for that? Is there something special about those sticks and the technique that was used?
Yes, we call it the 6.5 pound long pole technique.
Okay. Now you also are telling us about the two short knives. Those are those butterfly knives, or are there something different? I know yours were a slightly different shape than the butterfly knives that I've seen before. Is there a different name or exactly the same?
They are different. They look quite close, but actually, they are two different kind of things. Okay, and this is the sword knives, the sword weapons in the Wing Chun system, and we do have a special name on this kind of technique. We call them the Pat Jam Do, or I would rather like to translate it directly as the edge cutting technique of the sword knives.
The edge cutting tenet, is that what we're calling? Okay. Oh, techniques. Okay.
Yes, techniques.
Those are the edge cutting techniques. some of the other things we saw, I saw that Sifu Fang was working with a blindfolded woman. Now, you explained to us that Wing Chun was developed by a woman some 300 years ago. The woman blindfolded seemed to be doing very, very well against the opponent who did not have a blindfold on. Can you explain that to us and what that was all about?
Okay, I tell you what. The woman, he is already a third level practitioner of my system, right? And he is also the wife of Alan Fong. In my school, she has actually she have got a championship in the open Kung Fu tournament. In Hong Kong, you know, actually all the Kung Fu tournament was full contact tournament. And yeah, and also because in Wing Chun, we call it the Chi Sao exercise. With the Chi Sao exercise, we can train the feeling of our arms. That's why if you practice it for a long time, so both your arms can have a very sensitive feeling. So even though you close your eyes, okay, still you can feel it. You can feel what I mean is you feel the flowing of the force of your enemy. That's why how it works.
Could you tell us how many countries you have schools and branches in right now?
Right now, I have branches and headquarters all over 28 countries.
28 countries, that's amazing. Next to some of the Taekwondo schools and maybe one or two Japanese styles, I think that's probably one of the largest systems in the world.
I suppose so.
Well, I'm interested in this because I also know that you even have some schools behind the Iron Curtain.
Yes.
Okay, so you're one of the few styles that does transcend those political boundaries.
Right.
Okay. How many different teachers or students from different countries did you bring with you today for the demonstration?
Well, this time you see, I'm in New York. Before I come to here, I was already in Arizona and Texas. Some people they attend my seminars in the other two places, but in New York, there's a man called Nick Smack, the one who performed the Chum Kill form. He come from England. He is one of my hammer in my English headquarters.
Okay. Now, we had Chris Ward here and some of the other gentlemen, Sifu Alan Fong. Those are both New York
Yes, they are.
people, so they can be contacted here about the Wing Chun in New York City.
Right.
What's the next stop on your whirlwind tour?
This time, after my seminar here, I have to go to San Francisco because two more students, they want me to give them the examination and they want to open two branches somewhere in California. And then I have to fly back to Hong Kong soon.
Now, you have seminars going on a regular basis.
Yes.
You will be visiting now twice a year to U.S.?
Yes, from now on, yes.
Okay, so we can look forward to seminars in the future, and if the people in the audience would like to contact you, they can also write to the Martial Art Forum's address, and we will forward any of the mail to Sifu Leung Ting.
Right.
Sifu, it was a world-class pleasure having you and your students work with us, and I hope that we can do this again sometime.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Bye.
And thank you for watching.
Bye.
We'll be back.